Quick question, and Clint, I'll pick on you today. Was there anything you low-key avoided this week?
Loki? Actually, no. I think our conversation had been at the top of my mind and very much on the forefront. In the past, I might have high-key dodged three things before Wednesday, but this week, coining through the idea of avoidance, I have to say, it really helped me stay present this week.
That's outstanding, and look, I feel the same way. Keeping this at the top of my mind was helpful. If nothing else, I could kind of watch my thoughts wrestle with the things, that we talked about.
The things, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's wild how doing a stressful thing can somehow feel less exhausting than doing nothing.
And realistically, because if you're carrying it instead of confronting it, avoidance feels like that break that we were talking about, but it's not restful. I mean, it really is just this, sort of delay.
And look, that's why we wanted to talk a little bit more about avoidance, because it's important. And there's that momentary relief when you avoid the thing, but then there's the long game, the confidence and the clarity that shows up only after you engage with it.
And the truth is, engagement isn't about doing it all perfectly. It's about proving to yourself that you'll just simply show up.
Yeah, and today we're asking, what did you face this week? What did you dodge this week? And what could shift if you chose engagement instead?
And those are fantastic questions. So let's get into it.
Welcome to the Nature of Everything podcast with Bo and Clint, where we deep dive into the world of personal development through coin. Confirm it, own it, be intentional, and change the nature of everything.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nature of Everything. I'm Bo.
And I'm Clint.
Okay, so if last week was about naming the trap of avoidance, this week's about the shift, engagement. Engagement isn't about doing more. It's really about being more aligned.
Absolutely, because when people hear engagement, they think it means like forcing themselves into some crazy hustle and checking more boxes and confront everything right now. But it really isn't. That's not what it's about.
It sounds like that beast we call discipline, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about turning yourself into a productivity robot, some AI awesome robot that washes your dishes.
Right.
It's about saying, what needs me right now? What could bring me back into alignment if I leaned in, even just a little?
And it's anything like answering sort of a difficult text, or it could be, resting on purpose instead of just like numbing out and forgetting about it. Sometimes engagement is doing the thing, right? And sometimes it's finally letting go of that thing.
Exactly. Engagement, it's not performance, it's participation. It's stepping back into your own story instead of just sitting on the sidelines.
And if you've been trying to get your life together, as it were, by,
that's easy.
I know, right? But we do it all the time, like overcommitting or overthinking whatever the task is or whatever the situation is. Just simply, maybe that's not the move. Maybe it's just one sort of aligned action, like one thing that says, hey, I'm showing up, I'm present, I'm in this.
You know what? I think that's the tone today. We're not chasing more effort. We're actually chasing more truth. And the truth starts where alignment begins.
And where this really shows up? Work stress and parenting, even just trying to be a functional adult, sometimes it shows up, right?
Yeah, it does.
Everything feels like a fire drill. And I don't know. It just oftentimes, if we're not careful, I think engagement can sound like just one more chore that you have to do.
Like, when your inbox is overflowing or your dishes are literally breeding in the sink. My personal favorite, your kid has that science project that you didn't know about. And
right.
you know it's due tomorrow.
Yeah, now it's your science project to complete.
Exactly. So, it's like those things. Like when your brain is just begging for a nap. The idea of leaning in, engaging with it, it just can sound ridiculous.
Yeah, that sounds rough. And like the weird part is every time you do engage, even just a bit, even just a little bit, something shifts. It's like you've tricked your nervous system into remembering, hey, Hey, I'm capable. I can do this. I can get in the mix with this.
It's not just about crossing things off a list, it's about reclaiming your own role in life. Confidence and clarity, they don't drop out of the sky, they show up after you do.
And it's kind of like this weird little trade. If you're, say, avoiding some phone call that you need to make, it's like you're buying this little peaceful moment, and that's just right now. But you really are going to pay like interest later on this. But if you engage with it, if you actually take that small step towards it and place this phone call, it might cost a little discomfort at the moment, but you gain clarity.
Talking about the cost, that's where richness lives, not just in productivity, but in presence. Like when you're engaged, you're not just surviving, you're building relationships, momentum, energy, even income. Everything can improve.
Yeah, it's kinda like cleaning out your garage in your own way. You don't
Thanks a lot for bringing that
right?
to.
You don't even know what's in there anymore. You haven't taken stock of that or looked,
Mm-mm.
but every, like, box you open, everything you move around it, it makes space and it creates areas to move in and make progress. So every avoided task that you finally knock out, it's like a weight off your mind and a weight off your shoulders. And it like I said, it creates that space. And I mean, you didn't even know that you were carrying this weight around, but now it gets it off of you.
And look, nobody clears it all in a weekend. Engagement, it's a practice, it's a posture. It's not like a finish line. You're never going to get there. It's really like saying, like, I'm willing to meet my life where it is today, mess and all.
Sure. So if you've been stuck or tired or just like feeling like you're not yourself at all, then that might not mean that you're failing. It just means it's time to open one of those garage boxes and move it around and, get the spiders and the cobwebs out of the corner.
And here's what's wild. Like sometimes the thing that you've been avoiding, it's not even hard. It
Mm,
just got heavy because you carried it too long.
yeah, absolutely. You leave a simple thing, like you mentioned, whatever, a dentist appointment, I don't know, whatever it is, and you just kind of leave it sitting in the corner of your brain back there. Suddenly it feels like you're, I don't know, being chased by some wild animal. Every time you brush your teeth, the dentist beast is back there, chasing you down. And really it's just scheduling the cleaning at the dentist office.
Same with relationships. That unresolved text thread, that friend that maybe you keep meaning to call. The longer you wait, the weirder it gets, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, but the
indeed.
second you engage, even if it's awkward, but
Mm.
you engage honestly, like it will get lighter.
Yeah, I will say that, I think sometimes it's deeper than like a to-do list item. Maybe we are in some areas like avoiding an actual truth. You might know it, like I'm not happy at work, or there's something about this friendship that it seems, manipulative or it feels off or whatever. And maybe, I don't know, maybe you're saying yes to things that you should be saying no to, but you're over like that over committing piece. Maybe it's out of fear or some, obligation that you shouldn't have, an old narrative that you need to shed. And those truths, I can say that I do think that there are some of those truths that really does take like honest courage to get in there and engage with those. I think that can be tough sometimes.
Which is why we're not saying like engage with everything today.
Right.
That's not real life.
Sure.
We're saying engage with something. Pick up
Hmm.
one corner of the mess and see what happens. One action can just prove to your brain, your heart, your gut that you're not afraid of your own life.
For sure. That adds up, right? That's that stackable piece. I mean, not just mentally, but I think emotionally and physically as well. And you even mentioned financially, it can be stackable and build that. Because when you engage at work or you stop tolerating confusion or manipulation in some type of relationship, when you start owning your role, then these things change. Like stuff changes because of that.
Yeah. Momentum builds, self trust builds. And suddenly, like the future, it doesn't feel quite as foggy. That's what clarity is. That's confidence. It didn't come from a TED talk. It came from making the dentist appointment. It came from sending the text, from checking your bank account. and maybe finally cleaning out that corner of your life that you've been pretending not to see.
It's the garage again, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
every box that you ignore and it's piling up. And I mean, it's not like you can't see it. You see it piling up. And I don't know, let's be honest, like some of us I think we're emotionally like tripping over the boxes that we keep piling up. And you know what? We could have cleaned that out. We could have taken a moment to pick some of that up, move the mess and make some clarity.
I think that it's not that life gets easier when you start to engage with those things. It's that you get stronger. You stop being someone who flinches every time life knocks.
Yeah, and realistically, I'd rather be someone who engages like imperfectly and makes some mistakes than someone who is perfectly adept and awesome at avoiding. I don't think that's I'd rather mess it up but be engaged.
I think that's well said. I mean, engagement is power, but it's that quiet, grounded power. But once you feel it, you're going to never want to go back into hiding again.
So let's back up a little bit and talk about something that you mentioned. You said something about, the thing, and we talked about the thing last Friday, but the thing might not even be that heavy. It just may be that you've carried it too long, you've been dragging it around with you. Hell, even just like holding your hands in the air feels tiring at some point because you're just dragged down by it. So
Yeah.
whatever it is, like that email or the conversation, that nagging little task or errand that you need to run that you just simply keep putting off. I think that you're right. It's not a mountain. It's not some crazy huge lift. It just feels like one because it's been sitting on your mental shelf collecting dread and just getting it's like a snowball effect with something that you're avoiding.
Is like that half full water bottle that you forget that you're holding. 10 minutes, no big deal. But hold it for 6 hours and your arm's going to be on fire.
It's just a different exercise routine, I guess. But but yeah, I mean, to that, like I think it's the same with the hard task or the hard things, the hard stuff. Like the longer you carry it in your brain, on your heart, like whatever it is, I think it does get heavier. The longer you hold it, the heavier it gets.
Yeah.
And what makes it worse is you think you're somehow saving this energy by not dealing with it, not engaging with it. But like to your point, you're actually spending more energy managing the avoidance piece, really.
Emotional weight, it doesn't just disappear, it leaks out, right? In stress and
Sure.
tension and in shorter fuses with your kids or your coworkers. And it's all because you've got 12 undone things just rattling around in your head and no clean shelf space left.
Yeah, and the wild part is like you finally engage with one of those things, you finally tackle it, and the whole system seems to reset. Like, okay, so you send the email or you get a project even started. You've got a start piece to it. Or you just finally, I don't know, maybe you just finally have the conversation and you say what needed to be said, and suddenly, like there's this percentage of the world that just seems lighter to you.
And that's because you're not just removing the task, you're removing the weight of carrying it. That's emotional clutter. That's nervous system noise.
Mm.
That's the static between you and your peace.
And it's not about like productivity hacks. It's not
Mm-mm.
it's not life hacks. It's about being free, like in your mind and in your heart, in your soul. Like it is really about like freedom. Like if you're done carrying things that simply are continuing to get heavier the longer you maintain them, then
Yeah.
as you free that up, that's really what it's about.
So if you've been feeling kind of like that low grade stress or kind of weirdly foggy, just kind of stuck, check the backpack.
Mm.
Not
Yeah.
for what's hard, but for what's been there too long.
And I'd say, like, you've got some questions to ask yourself. And we've done episodes on this previously within the podcast stuff. It's like, what is in your backpack? What have I been carrying that it's the easy thing to turn loose? Like, what's the low hanging fruit here that takes 5 minutes to get rid of this task or this issue or this text message, whatever it may be? I guess if you reframe it and say, what if I'm actually not overwhelmed? It's just way overdue, and I need to
Mm,
get on this. Not overwhelmed, just overdue.
I love it. Confidence, it doesn't come from perfection. It comes from participation,
Mm, yeah.
from proving yourself over and over again, sort of like, I'll face it, even with the small stuff.
And I'd say even especially the small stuff. I think that's probably where I'm expending the most energy. It's just like that low level stuff, but it can't continues to grow. I think that's probably on the small stuff is where I need to release some of these things.
So maybe today's the day that you pick one thing, the thing that isn't heavy, but it got heavy because you're still stuck holding it up. Maybe you can say, like, you know what, I'm done carrying this.
Yeah, so I say we pick on this a little bit deeper because this doesn't just live in your sticky notes and your to-do task list. It shows up big in relationships as well.
Yeah, especially with the people that are closest to you. You avoid the conversation with your partner or your friend or your kids. And it's not because you don't care, it's just because it feels complicated. You don't want to start a fight, or you're not even sure how to say whatever you want to say.
And again, like you mentioned, it feels small. You brush it off or you let it slide. But then, as that time passes, a few days or a week or whatever passes, now you've got time building into this, snowball resentment or whatever you call it. And now you're irritated. Now you are stressed about this event. And it was something tiny, but you've been carrying it around. And now it's becoming that heavy piece. You know what? I bet we haven't even named it yet, whatever the thing is, right?
Yeah, and you called it resentment. Like, that's how resentment sneaks in. It's
Mm,
not explosions, but often in the silence,
sure.
or in the avoidance, right? I
Yeah,
mean, in
sure.
all the things that you never said, but you keep reliving it in your head.
Mhm.
This is the same thing.
I agree. It doesn't just poison that relationship. It weighs you down because I think your body and your mind, your heart, your soul, that you're holding something that should have been turned loose. It should have been dealt with by addressing it and not avoiding it. But I think your body knows it. Like it's there.
Yeah, and the tragic part is like, the longer that you avoid that hard conversation, the more warped it gets. You
Hmm.
start having like
Hmm.
imaginary fights. You rehearse all the wrong
Absolutely.
outcomes. Meanwhile, the other person might not even know that there's tension.
And if you ever finally get to it and you say it out loud, if you will do it, then it's not about what happened previously. It's not about pulling up the past. It's more about what's been left unsaid. And the reality is that's not fair to you or them. Not neither party is this fair to if it's just going unsaid.
Maybe those are also just undone tasks. Those things that are kind of nagging emotionally at you. We grow to resent those. I mean, maybe it's the same thing. Maybe it's just the boxes in the garage.
Mm.
Maybe resentment is just a byproduct of avoidance. But engaging is, it's somewhere on the spectrum between acceptance and understanding, or maybe something in the realm of confirming and owning.
Yeah, I see what you did there. But
Hmm.
I mean, in all fairness, carrying this unspoken tension around, that's a full-time job just in and of
Yeah, it
itself.
is. Yeah.
I mean, it messes with your energy and your excitement and your life happiness, your presence, like the way you speak to people, the way you hear people speak to you. And I think that you end up, if you're not careful, I think you end up acting resentful to the people that, has no idea what's going on.
I get it. The hard
Hmm.
conversations, they're hard for a reason.
Sure.
I mean,
Sure.
you might be scared of the reaction. You might be afraid that, you're going to make it worse. But the truth is that engagement does build trust, and not just with them, but with yourself.
I mean, I think the more you like build that practice of believing that, hey, I can engage with this. I can handle emotional truth. It starts the practice of saying I can unpack these boxes. I can move this stuff around in the garage.
And on the other side of that, relief,
Mm,
connection, alignment, whatever. I mean, even if the
sure.
thing is messy, even if it's emotional, it's real. And real always seems to weigh less than fake.
So if you've been sitting on something or there's something that you need to say and something that you need to engage with, maybe today is not about writing a perfect speech and being able to eloquently get all of this information out there. But maybe it's just, hey, I've been carrying something and I want to talk about it. And maybe now's not the time that you talk about it, but maybe at least saying, hey, there's something that I've got going on and I would like to create a time or a space that we can sit down and hash it out, talk about it. Maybe that's enough to even get the process started today.
Look, while we're talking about hard conversations, let's not skip the hardest one, the one with yourself.
I think the person I probably most often avoid is the guy that I got to look at in the mirror. I know too often what the truth actually is, but I kind of want to sidestep it because
Yeah.
it's easier to get distracted or distract myself and stay busy with something else. But I mean, deep down, I know
Mhm.
when something's off, and I know when I'm avoiding it.
Yeah. You catch yourself feeling frustrated or stuck, and you tell yourself that you don't even know why, but you kind of do. And it's
True.
often because you haven't named the thing,
Sure.
the real thing underneath. You're not lazy, you're just carrying around too much unnamed weight.
Yeah, and maybe you're burned out. Maybe you're overloaded. And maybe it's causing the burnout. I don't know. You're saying, well, I'm tired or it's laziness. I mean, you can call yourself lazy if you choose, but I don't know, man. Maybe it's grief and you're calling it moodiness, or maybe it's that feeling that, like you mentioned, alignment. Maybe you feel out of alignment with your values and you're not sticking to your own standards. You're not holding yourself to the things that you've decided for yourself, but you just keep putting it off to say, well, I'm just tired.
That I'm tired. You know how we always joke around about the it's fine? I think I'm going to
I'm
start using like I'm tired.
tired. I said I'm tired.
Right. But like, here's the gut punch. Like, what you don't name, you carry. And what you carry, you start to identify with. And that's how we end up believing things about ourselves that aren't even true. Like, I'm not motivated or always sabotage myself when maybe you haven't just paused long enough to get really honest.
And you think about naming stuff, it at least getting to the point that we know that we're engaging with that, then I think that we are giving ourselves the ability to lead ourselves in a way, because
Yeah.
if we're giving ourselves the freedom to name it and confirm that for ourselves, then I think we are giving ourselves sort of this standard to say, now I'm in control. Right now I'm driving this again because I'm willing to give myself the ability to name it.
And sometimes the hardest part of growth, it's not even the work, it's the
Mm.
clarity. The, oh man, this is actually what I've been avoiding. And yet, once you name it, I think you take your power back. It's like when you name it, you actually separate it from yourself. Like it's there and you're here.
I'd say here's a question then. What are we pretending not to know right now? What feeling have we been pushing the mute button? And instead of being muted, we need a microphone on this thing, not a
Mm,
muzzle, right?
yeah.
And so I say remember, this isn't about drama or emotional overhauls or big demonstrations. It's about being in the right relationship with yourself. And like you said, alignment starts with honesty and clarity. And sometimes, I don't know, it starts with a whisper, letting myself know I'm just not okay. And maybe you don't know what all the names are for it yet, but it gives you the opportunity to start pulling the layers back to say, okay, I'm not okay, or I want more than whatever this is. And
Mm.
that gives you that agency, that gives you the ability to take those steps because you're starting to put substance to what that feeling is.
I mean, if you're talking about the boxes in the garage,
Mm,
that sounds like, oh, I can do that. But you start talking about that stuff, you start
yeah.
talking about like, I'm not okay. And
Mm.
boy, that feels big. Like, it's why it's so important. Like, name it. Even if you can't fix it yet, even if you don't know what to do next, starting with truth and then start with engagement.
I'll say this, if we're feeling a little stirred up right now,
Mm.
say that's the right thing. No, it's not a bad thing at all. Like, lean into that. Don't be put off by that. That's simply just awareness doing its job and walking you towards clarity.
Yeah. Awareness without any action, that's what just turns into guilt. But awareness with even just the smallest action, that's literally growth.
So here's your weekend challenge. Find one thing you've been carrying around too long. Something that isn't actually heavy. It's just overdue. And engage with whatever that is.
It could be a task, text, a decision, a conversation, whatever. Or maybe it is something internal, something you need to name just for you. Even if it's just writing it in a note on your phone, name it.
And if you do want to peel those layers back further, I would say sit with these questions like over the weekend. 1, what have I been carrying longer than I need to? 2, what hard thing might actually feel lighter if I simply engaged with it? And then 3, what truth about myself have I been avoiding?
Just to help myself here, I would say just pick one. One thread, one step. Like, you don't have to fix your whole life this weekend, but you can engage with your life, and that changes the nature of everything.
And hey, I will say this, if you do it, if you face that thing, or if you name that truth, or you get yourself to take one of those steps, we'd love to hear about it. Send us some DMs, tag us, or just email it to us. The point is, honor the move. Actually celebrate the fact that if and when you take this step, celebrate that, honor that move, and be proud of that.
Yeah, because every time you do engage, you're just telling your future self, like, hey, man, I got you. Or, hey, lady, hey, person, I got you. That's how confidence is built. That's how clarity is born. One small aligned choice at a time.
As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for being curious, and absolutely thanks for leaning in and spending your time with us. If you want to explore any of this further, by all means, reach out to us. Pick up the book. It's at coinyourlife.com. And until next time, keep coining.
I dig it.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check out coinyourlife.com and find us on social media.